Good morning, brothers and sisters, lovers, haters, friends and neighbours, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls in vibrations. Hope everybody is well this morning. What a day to be alive. It's very, very fresh out there. So anybody in the Carlisle area, please be careful on the roads this morning because they are deadly. Some brilliant conversations yesterday with some brilliant people, which sort of carried on from Monday. I was at a meeting on Monday. There was some brilliant shares. It was a good meeting. And I shared myself for the first time in a little while. You know, I haven't shared for a number of weeks. Now, yesterday, and so I suppose started on Monday, in my share I went deep in my childhood, you know, and conversation sort of carried on yesterday with some other good people. You know, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to everybody that's from broken homes, you know, whose parents were addicts, you know, and, you know, I know all about that world, man. I lived it for years. It's funny, isn't it, you know, what we see, what we feel, what happens to us as children shapes us, you know, as adults. Now, listen, I had some really good times in my childhood, some really, really good times. I also had some very bad times as well. You know, the worst of the things what I went through as a child is not for YouTube, okay? It never will be. You know, we reserve the right as people to keep to ourselves what we see fit. There's a lot of stuff there that needs unearthed, you know, and we'll maybe get there one day. But for me, especially, I mean, I can relate to my story more than anybody else's because it's mine. I lived it and I know it better than anybody else's. But I remember in the late 80s, early 90s, vague memories from that time, you know, but I know it wasn't good. And up and, you know, right through the 90s, you know, I was battered and beaten because I was bad. You know, I was really bad. And I deserved all the hidings that I got. You know, my mum, the first person to break my nose. And she was my mum was a young mother. She was naive. She was, you know, she's only just shy of 18 years older than me. She was in active addiction. She was alone. You know, and it's only now I look back and I sympathise. You know, I sympathise with what my mum went through, you know, and how she had it. At the time, I didn't. At the time, I just flat out resented her. You know, I've desperately wanted a relationship with my dad, who was in the ground. You know, and I always felt like I was never shown, you know, the compassion I think that was necessary. Comparing, you know, me to other kids on the street and that, you know, I often felt I wasn't shown what I needed to be shown. You know, and right from a young age, I didn't respect my mum at all. I had no concept of parental authority. I done what I wanted when I wanted. I didn't have a bedtime. I didn't have a time I needed to come home. I ran wild. Yeah, I ran wild. And that behaviour, that person reflected right through my adult life. You know, I was immoral. You know, I've done some immoral things. I've lied, I've cheated, I've stolen, you know, I've been very violent. I've hurt a lot of people unnecessarily. And that, for me, is the only regret. You know, anything I've put myself through, anything I've been put through by other people, all that stuff I can handle. I can handle all that stuff. You know, what doesn't sit too well with me is what I've put other people through unnecessarily. Either through, you know, lack of control, I've got a bad temper, you know, or simply for personal gain. You know, people were just there to be taken advantage of, as far as I was concerned. I had a lack of empathy. I just didn't care, you know, how people felt, what people thought. I couldn't care less, and that reflected in my behaviour. You know, I suppose, you know, people had never been good to me, so why should I be good to people, was kind of my attitude. And it was only until I got clean, you know, a couple of years ago, you know, my feelings started to come. All the negative feelings started to come in as well. You know, I got my feelings back. I say that's, you know, the best and the worst thing about getting clean is getting your feelings back. Well, that happened with me, you know, all this negative emotion come flushing in, and it was all the stuff that I'd done wrong was highlighted, you know, all the harm, all the pain, all the chaos, all the stealing and the dealing and the twocking and the thieving. You know, it was relentless for 20 plus years. And I look back at it and I'm, you know, there is some shame there. You know, I don't live in shame. There's some regret there. I don't live in regret, you know, but sometimes I've got to go back and live in them times to appreciate the here and now. You know, I've said it many times, many times. You know, I am living a life beyond my wildest dreams. I have literally lived in hell, you know, for years. I had no connection to people. And I was desensitized, you know, to what others felt, thought. You know, it's something I didn't think about. I give it no thought process at all. Of course, things are different now, you know, and that side of me, that side of me that loves chaos, you know, that loves violence, that loves taking drugs, that has a lack of empathy, that has a real temper, that's well capable of hurting people for no reason, is still there. It'll always be there. It's just not at the surface no more. It's buried down, deep down, but it is definitely still there. You know, it's part of me. You know, we can't fully change who we are, but we can change behaviours. You know, we can change habits, we can change friends, we can change environments, you know, and these things, you know, they promote change, you know, they promote a better person. Now, what matters to me is, you know, is today, the here and now. That's what matters to me. Now, like I say, I couldn't relate or identify to good parenting as a child. Now I can. Today, here and now, I can. You know, my eldest kids, God bless them, you know, they've already seen too much as children. You know, and that's down to me, you know, and my ex-wife. But listen, we're doing well. You know, we're doing well, and you know, and I've got a great life now. You know, and there's nothing better for me than trying to do the right thing, not only for myself but for my kids. You know, there's a few promises I've made myself. I mean, I'll never be broke. You know, again, I'll never. I mean, never say never, but I'll never intentionally get down below a certain amount, because I refuse to be a bum dad. I refuse to be that dad that, you know, can't help his kids, you know, financially, can't be there emotionally, financially, you know, and can't offer that real support that's necessary as a dad. Now, I mean, it was only Christmas there, my eldest daughter come and hit us up for a couple of grand. I obviously protested, you know, but I give her it I lent her it, keyword, lent. You know, I lent her it in the end, but, you know, that was nice. You know, it's nice to be able to do them things. You know, I'm going to make sure that they all get the driving lessons and help them towards the first car and stuff. And that is something for me, because it's something I never had, you know, and the emotional support, you know, to be there, to have emotional awareness of your own children is extremely important and super necessary. You know, you need to be able to see and know where your kids are emotionally, how they're feeling. You know, that's of big importance for me. You know, just a big shout out to everybody that's trying to improve on a daily basis, you know, bit by bit, little by little. You know, we do improve, we can improve. You know, but we have to want to. You know, we do have to want to. I'm well capable of destroying my whole life in 5 minutes flat. You know, I've got that inside me, that temperament, that temper, that violent nature. It's still there. You know, it is still there. But I don't nurture that side of me anymore. I nurture the side of me that I want to, the person that I want to be. You know, I want to be polite. I want to be kind. I want to extend courtesy to my fellow man. I want to be a brilliant dad. I want to be the best dad I can be. You know, and I try daily, you know, to make those things happen. Of course, this is life. You know, it's not a smooth ride. Of course, we sometimes take one step forward, 2 steps back. As I said in the meeting on Monday, sometimes it's no steps forward and 3 steps back. But over the last 2 years, since I've been in recovery and since I've been making this conscious effort to change and improve. There has been a steady improvement, slow but steady improvement, no doubt about it. You know, I'm a better person today than I've ever been. You know, so if I can do it, a fuck up like me, you know, who's had it not easy, you know, and I can do it, you know, anybody can do it. Absolutely anybody can do it. Trust me on that, it's achievable. It's, I've made it happen, you know, and yeah. Listen, like I say, I'm not anybody's ideal person. That is for sure. You know, there's no two ways about that. I am not anybody's ideal person. You know, but I'm trying my best, you know, and that's enough for me. You know, I seen something yesterday that it's about the people that we are becoming and the people that we want to be, not the people that we've been, you know. And that's very true. Thank you for listening, brothers and sisters. My name's Danny and I'm an addict. Have a beautiful day.